Hello and welcome to this stream of Band of Blades. We are very happy and excited to be back to this epic showdown of an episode. We are going to do a religious mission with some glory this time, which is going to be very interesting. But first, we're going to do some introductions. My name is Mikael. My pronouns are they, them. This is my channel. Where I stream only this for now on Thursday. So you're here, you know this, well done. We're going to go around and introduce our cast. Do you want to start, Jim?
Sure. I'm Jim Crocker. I met Mikhail on the Gauntlet, and that's why we're here on his stream playing this. I am playing the commander, Zaya Dunayeva. And folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet, like if you're watching this and you recognize me, it's probably because you've seen me at a convention somewhere selling games, because that's what I do. I sell a whole lot of games on behalf of Indie Press Revolution and Goodman Games at conventions all up and down the East Coast and in the Midwest. Coming up, let's see, next weekend, I've got UConn in the Ann Arbor Ypsilanti area, and then a couple weeks after that, it's PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, the great big 800-pound gorilla of a tabletop show that we're looking forward to seeing a whole bunch of people there. If you want to actually play something with me, I'm going to be running a game in the Magpie Games Room there. I think Friday evening I'm running Zombie World, so if you wanted to actually play a game, we could do that. And you can find me online on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, and my website is jimlikesgames.com. And I'm really looking forward to today's plunging into the forest here.
Cool. You want to go next, Joel?
Yeah, I'm Joel Van Dyne. I use she, her pronouns. This is also the only thing I'm streaming right now. However, I did recently become a bronze medal author on DM's Guild with my Tier 1 adventure module, A Place to Call Home. So that's pretty much the only other thing I've done and am doing. Yeah. That's it. So I'll kick it over to Paul, perhaps.
Thank you. Congratulations, Gerald. That's awesome. Well done. Hey, I'm Paul. I use pronouns he, him. I'm from London in the UK. I wasn't here last week because I am a brewer at a brewery called Orbit Beers. I'm wearing the merch today. And the beer wasn't behaving very well, so I had to go and babysit it until 1 o'clock in the morning. Not very happy about that. But I'm back. So I am playing the Law Keeper, Ivory Remembering Snow. And you can find me on Twitter at Marshall Stacks, but I just post boring things about beer, not really about RPGs. So, but yeah, follow me anyway. So yeah, I will pass it over to Matthias.
Hi everyone, I'm Matthias CM pronouns, and the game's trying to throw complications at me. But I'm just going to laugh at it. I've got a plan of who to send on those missions the commander decided on today. I think we're all good. Let's see if the engagement dice also agree with that.
Yeah, we'll see. But first, since our dear Lord Keeper was gone last time, our dear Marshall ensured that we got double story time today. We're starting off with a back at camp scene in wake of our last mission, which was scouting out and finding the entrance into the next place we're going, which is the good forest of Dresh. They have very fancy Latin words, letters writing, which makes it difficult to read. But it is indeed the Dresh Forest. Finding the Path of Gerholtz, which is an old way into the forest that Gerholtz, the hunter god of Aldermark, used to open up for hunters of Aldermark to go hunting in the forest. But it hasn't been open for hundreds of years. Nobody really thought it existed anymore, but the Horned One said otherwise. So that's where we went to open and find. So we haven't opened it yet. We're going to see that this episode. That was my crew suggestion for what this mission might look like. We'll get back to that. But first, we have Lore Keeper story time. So, Paul, which of the back at camp scene are you going to choose this time around?
Okay, well, considering they're like both high morale, there's only 2 left. Neither of them seem particularly like jubilant or jolly. So I think I'm going to go for your chosen has fallen silent and refuses to speak to anyone. I think that fits in quite well with like the fact that we're sort of like approaching this forest, like the sort of sacred land of the chosen. And I mean, I get the idea that the Horned One is not exactly like the most kind of collegiate and kind of chatty chosen anyway. But like this is different. It's not just the fact that the chosen is like is not talking. It's there's this aura of like I don't know, of like intensity just like radiating off of like the chosen one. And there's like as we're kind of like marching like towards the forest, like there's a gap like in the formation. Like normally the chosen one is kind of the Horned One is marching towards the front of the legion, but they've like kind of they sort of quickened their pace, and they're sort of like leaving like the legion behind. There's like people like struggling to sort of keep up, and there's rumors like sort of starting to spread through the rank and file about like what we're gonna find there in the forest. So let's sort of pick up the scene there. Yeah.
Cool. So just to put this into context for our dear viewers, and also probably some of our players, the area which we are going into now is actually a bit of a Panyar homeland. They are going to be Panyar living in the forest, and this is a very much like this, at least the center of it, which we are going to have to go through to stay safe of the undead, is a bit of a Princess Mononoke situation, where the forest is mystical and has a will of its own. So yeah, that is probably, I think that is interesting to know for context for this scene. Who's playing who in the scene, Paul?
I haven't really thought of that.
I was just thinking it would be really cool if someone else actually played a Horned One.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Anyone want to jump at that?
So is the idea that the Horned One has gone silent, that they are not going to speak all during this scene, or
yeah, I was thinking or that
they're yeah, I mean, like we can totally describe what they do and stuff like that, or is it just that they're like are they responding? I mean, I guess we can play to find out, but like is whoever's agreeing to play the Horned One agreeing that they're not going to talk during this entire scene?
I mean, we don't really have to have anyone playing the Horned One either if we want to just like pitch in on how she's reacting together. Could also be.
I feel like that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Just a suggestion of who else might be there. We're like approaching the forest. There might be this almost unspoken way that like a lot of other Panyards find themselves looking out towards their old home, at least in the direction, feeling that it's close. So anyone could just pick their favorite Panyard out of the Legion and play that person.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm gonna play Lawkeeper Snow. He's Panyar. This is his home as well. So.
I'm just gonna grab Russet, I think. If that's alright, unless there's anyone else wanted to jump on Russet Raging Tempest.
No, I was thinking I could play the Mercy that we haven't seen yet as Panyar. Silver Standing Ember.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice.
Jim, you got your eyes on a Panyar?
I'm looking at our sheet here. What do we know about Anthracite? We had Anthracite's a scout, right?
Yeah, it was the one who got the corruption sucked out.
Yeah.
Of what we found in the city.
Yeah, it was rescued from Carlsberg.
Cool. I'll be Anthracite then.
It seemed like there was also maybe some kind of special relationship between the Horned One and Anthracite when we were sent to go get them. So that could be interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What we said then, I think, is
Goss.
what we said then, I think that there's rumor that they had a relationship before the Horned One became the Horned One when she was a human.
Yeah, there we go. TMZ Aldermark. That's awesome.
Oddest Goss.
Cool. Set the scene for us, Paul.
So the Legion is marching along through the foothills, and they come over the brow of one of these low kind of foothills, and the sun kind of like breaks through the sort of the clouds there on the horizon, and there, like as they go over the crest of this hill, spread out like in front of them, like as far as the eye can see, is this it's a Daresh forest, the treetops like reaching up into the sky, and there's almost like especially from like the Panyar in the Legion, you know, there's like an audible kind of gasp and intake of breath where everyone sort of sees the forest spread out below them. And Lawkeeper Snow, he's marching along next to Anthracite, and he kind of reaches out and he places his large sort of weathered hand upon Anthracite's shoulder, and he's like, feels good to be home, doesn't it?
And I shrug and I say, the Legion is my home now.
The correct answer, Anthracite. The correct answer is always, you're always the politician, aren't you?
I think
And I kind of and I sort of look a little exasperated and I say, it's true, you know, this is where if I wanted to stay in the forest, I could have stayed in the forest.
Of course, but home is a feeling, home is a concept. You can have more than one home. Of course, the Legion has been my home for years and will be until the day I draw my dying breath. But this here, I miss the greenery, I miss the trees, I miss the bird song.
And I kind of like grin a little bit slyly, and I just sort of like kind of put a hand on your shoulder the way you've got one on mine, and I say, well, then I shall endeavor to live long enough to miss this place, as you have.
I think this is when like Tempest steps into view, like as the third figure in the shot, and they say, "Friends,
the old man is homesick, Tempest. He's been gone too long.
Yeah, and Tempest
he forgets why we all left in the first place.
Tempest doesn't catch the humor, and that's like kind of obvious in that voice, and just nods gravely at that, and says, "We may be coming home, and the Legion will need us as guides. But bringing the Legion here also means we'll be trespassing."
Yeah, and I think the camera pans over to the horned one, like walking. I think I imagine actually she's probably walking kind of in the middle of like the Legion, but there's like a good amount of space around her, like there is in like a small square where she's like having some distance to everyone else.
Yeah, I think it takes Silver Standing Ember a little while to kind of like get to where the others are gathered around. The Mercy's job is to take harm done to other people and put it upon themselves. And I think the last time this Mercy was used was when the cadre came back like 3/4 dead. So Silver Standing Ember's pretty much just been in a tent going through mundane healing since then, so they kind of have to they're still like limping a little bit, like it doesn't hurt anymore, but they're just a little slow. And they come up to the group and take a deep breath of the forest air that has like a little bit of, you can hear a little bit of a rattle in their chest, and they're like, I have to agree with the old man. I think it is good to be home. Whether or not we'll be seen as trespassers, I think remains to be seen. Hopefully, maybe the force has missed us as well, old man.
We need not worry. We have the patronage of the Horned One, of the Chosen, to guide us through. I mean, just amongst us, brothers and sisters, I feel that we as Panya are more attuned to the natural way of things that is not spoken. You know what I mean?
And how would you do in the mountains, old man?
Well, the rocks do not make for comfortable pillows.
And the Aurites don't leave anything unspoken.
Each of us we're connected or not as we wish to be. This notion that we have some unique, perhaps for this place because we know it and it knows us, but the world is vast. And all of us are connected to it in some way.
Yeah, and I think from the side you see, I'm gonna jump in with the Violet Charging Tide here of the Ember Wolves that I like very much. I think She says, "Do you think that will change now that everything that we pass gets destroyed?"
Yeah, and I think it's actually Azure searching Flood who, because they're both in the same squad, right? Azure was like brand new ordained that she's a soldier now. There's some insignia there. Yeah, are we leading the corruption and blight right to our homelands?
Maybe that's why the Horde one's been quiet. It's a lot to think about.
I suspect that they would have found this place with or without our help. It's hard to miss. She has an opinion, I'm sure. I say, kind of like sort of doing like a head fake at the horned one walking up there. But good luck getting her to share it.
Do we get the crane shot pan up now? That twists a bit to show how the enemy is on the horizon, like you can see in the distance of the horizon over the plains, signs of like dark smoke in the west.
Yeah, and I think we see like a smash cut to the forest where we see this big moose running to like these huge trees, and see like the trees almost like folding to get out of its way. The war moose.
I was waiting for someone to say that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for going with that idea. I just thought that was cool.
Awesome. So, is that scene?
Yeah, scene. That scene. Nice one.
And for
I feel like she's got an opinion. Good luck getting her to share it. Is the like, that's a good place to end that. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting foreshadowing for our viewers. Who is the moose? What is it doing? We'll get back to you in a few minutes. First, we will do. Do you need some time for your people died scene as well? You can. We can do some campaign action.
I've got one of them, haven't I? Yeah, because last time I did it, I just kind of like improved it off the cuff, and I found it really unsatisfying. So yeah, is it cool if I kind of have a little think about it and sketch some things down?
Yeah, sure.
Cool, thank you.
We'll do the campaign actions meanwhile. Mm-hmm. So first, Commander, get your rulebook, and you can increase time and pressure by 1.
All right, let's see what we got here. That's anthracite. All right. Commander.
What is time and pressure?
Pressure by 1. Time by 1. Excellent.
And then the quartermaster must spend 1 food used to feed the legion, or the legion loses 2 morale. And then the quartermaster, it is your turn. So yeah, you get a number of. You can go walk us through your procedure.
Okay, so I was thinking that we could probably use a rest and recuperate. So the marshal was saying we don't need one, but I do have 2 actions. So is there anything like really pressing that people would rather have besides that?
Remind us again what our options are.
Okay, so there's acquire assets, which I'll probably also do for horses, because we're always using horses. There's liberty, which clears stress and improves morale. There's long-term projects. The one we have now is the Blackshot Bomb. There's recruit, where we can get up to 5 rookies. We're missing 4, so I could do it, or I could wait until we lose some more. Rest and recuperate lets people work on the healing ticks for harm, which I was thinking, I know we have a bunch of level 1 harms, so we can still operate, but like I didn't know if it might be good to do some preventative resting. And
I just my thought there is always we might catch more harm on this religious defense mission. It's defense, so it sounds like physical harm is very much on the line. And I think the ones going on that mission are quite capable, probably.
The commander feels like if we're gonna work on these bombs, let's get them done sooner rather than later. The sooner we get them done, the sooner they're an asset that we have available.
I kind of agree, and we also didn't we get the alchemist last time? That can help with that stuff now. So
we have them. Let's put them to work.
Yeah. Are we advancing after this?
We are.
Okay. So we're at 3 supply currently. I was thinking we could also go down to 2. Are we getting, what are the rewards for these missions? Favor and
no supply.
Time.
Supplies are tough to come by in the forest.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not going to be supply missions for a while.
Okay. So
stocking up on food, or what are you planning? This is too many choices
we
now.
have. I know. Yeah, we have 4 food.
That's good. We can go.
So,
we can get all the way through the forest on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snacks. We got snacks.
I could also look for supply carts to try and increase our food as well, I think is how that works.
I think we're good on food. Like if we got 4, that's...
What you can do with the supply cart is that you can take with you more supply. So right now you're capped at 3, you can't take more than that. So you're limited in the amount of things you can stock up on when you advance.
Yeah, it helps with food as well. Yeah, I think it's like you can take 4 supply with you, and then each food also counts.
It's one more tick.
But
yeah.
Yeah. So I think we'll go with acquire assets to look for horses.
Yeah, let's do that. Because if that's a poor roll, you might want to do that twice. I don't know. Like that can also happen. Right?
I think probably the next thing I do will be try and finish up that long-term project for everybody.
Yeah, black shot grenades. Yeah.
Yeah. So for acquire assets, I'll just do that one first. Roll the location's asset rating.
That's a 1.
And then I'm looking for horses. So that's a plus 2.
Yeah.
So number of dice is 3, I think.
Yep. That's a 6. You get the full tick of horses with all the boxes and everything.
Okay.
For a critter, you could have gotten fire mains.
That would have been cool.
I mean, we're heading into the forest, so we don't need any horses on fire.
I don't think they're literally on fire, but man, good point.
Probably just means they've got like ginger manes, but that would be they're not like nightmares.
And a lot of temperament, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We'll get the moose. Won't need any fancy horses.
True that.
And then for the long-term project, Dr. Boom rolls for that one. They roll their research, I believe. And then let me just check what the alchemist does, because we haven't had one of those before. Dr. Boom finally got an assistant.
Yeah, we got you an assistant last time, and I think the alchemist is also like excellent quality or something.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. I think all alchemists are supposed to be excellent.
That's
but
how we got. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
That's how we got.
This is just a shiny new one with no corruption.
Yeah.
So fresh.
Do we have a name for the alchemist?
I don't have one. If anybody has one to suggest. I think I have that they're orate. But nothing else.
Okay. Someone have an alright name?
Ezra Caligri.
Nice.
Or what's their title?
Oh, someone else choose that title.
Who's Dean, because he's like an academic.
Dean.
He's
Yeah,
a
I like
dean.
it.
He's a dean. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so alchemists can cure arcane diseases and make alchemicals for the Legion. Roll dice equal to the number of alchemists in your Legion to determine the effect, and then roll the same number of dice for corruption. So I'm not really understanding what changes, but does it just give
fictional positioning?
Well, so you don't have to have. So what we've been doing, and I think we've been doing, but this is slightly wrong if I'm not, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So you can make alchemists do the projects, and you normally roll at alchemist. Now we have a PC that's an alchemist, so we have just been rolling the skill. But also this PC hasn't gotten any corruption out of it, so they gotten pretty cheap off. I think that's not how it's supposed to be. But so I'm not completely sure how we do it now. How did you read it out as? You roll the amount of alchemist you have. I know when I was watching an actual play of Strass running the game, they rolled the amount of alchemists they had, and then they split the corruption on those non-player character alchemists.
Okay, so looking at the thing for long-term effect and the thing for alchemist, I'm thinking maybe Dr. Boom's research roll is what determines how much is all that determines how much the clock gets filled up, and then the roll on the alchemist and how many of them you have is how good the end product ends up being, because it to determine the effect.
Sure. And from now on, also, if the Dr. Boom is experimenting, they also are a potential victim for the corruption. Because that's how this alchemy works, is that whenever you do it, it has potential. It has consequences because it's corrupted by blighter being turned. So I mean, we don't have to do like that every time you do something in fiction, but for these kind of long-term projects, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, cool. I agree.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, so I think first, Dr. Boom, roll your research, please.
Sure. Let me get it up. Where is it? Where am I?
Where are we with that clock, by the way? Because
we are at 4 out of 6.
Ooh, nice. So this could be it.
Oh, Dr. Boom.
Or not.
Oh, what did I roll? I can't see the result.
It's just one tick. It's a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Just a 1 tick. Okay.
And then,
well, look on the bright side. That means next time we can't fail to complete it. It's a sure thing with Dr. Beam on the case.
do I roll for effect if we haven't actually made anything yet?
I think actually how this makes most sense working is that you get one
Okay.
more effect if you have an alchemist.
Okay, it's page
In this
139.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I said I was going to read it, but I didn't. I will have to do it until next time. But that makes more sense that you get one more effect, and then fill the clock. So you get 2 effects for a limited one instead, since you have another alchemist. But you need to still roll for the corruption to spread out on our 2 concoctors.
Also, how we need to see what this looks like when you finally finish.
Mm-hmm.
So do I just roll 1 because we only have 1 asset alchemist, or 2 because Dr. Boom is an alchemist?
2, I guess.
Okay. I just wasn't sure because I think he could still lead the role if he was like a medic, technically, like skills wise, but
Some of these peripheral mechanics are a bit confusing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And not very well described.
Okay. I rolled a 1 and a 2.
So it's 3. How does that read? And is that 3 corruption, or do you take the one that's highest, or how does it?
1 to 3 is 3 corruption.
Okay. Yeah, and you can distribute as you want.
Do you want some Dr. Boom, or do you want
Or is
to
it
pile
3
it
for
all?
both then?
No, it's 3 in combined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take 1.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
So-
definitely. I want to take 1.
So
Got it.
shared corruption is half.
Yeah.
Corruption halved.
Yeah. So yeah, Dr. Boom will take 1, and we'll put 2. We'll put 2 on the flunky.
Okay.
Okay, so that seems like it deserves a small scene. We got our blackshot grenades done, and we got some corruption. How come?
I think like it's morning, like in camp, and like nobody in camp has managed to get any sleep last night because there's just been these like noises, just like these booms and explosions like going off like out in the like on the line at the edge of the camp, and there's been like this weird like kind of like green glow coming out of like Dr. Boom's tent. So everyone's in a really like bad mood in the morning, you know, because nobody slept. And then I just think like Emilio like just walks in like into the mess hall where everyone's trying to like eat breakfast and like drinking their tepid kind of coffee. With what's the alchemist's name again? What do we call them? Is it Ezra?
Ezra,
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ezra behind him, and they're both like covered in like kind of soot, like black soot, and their eyes are like wide and like staring like that. and he just stands there like sort of with this big grin on his face, like waiting for like people to look at him, and then everyone's kind of staring at him, and he's like, Ezra, if you will, please. Look what we made, everyone! And Ezra like sort of pulls open his thing, goes like that, and he's just got all these like grenades hanging up inside his jacket, and they're just standing there like grinning.
Nice.
I'm imagining full mad scientist hair, like
Yeah, completely like
both of them.
I have a suggestion how we might reflect this. I don't know if you thought about that, Mikhail. We could just add, like if you look at the if you look at the quartermaster sheet, we could just add a custom material here, and like the black shot, maybe give it 3 uses or something like that.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, let's do that. You can add a plus there and add a new asset.
And, we could just say that. Well, we've got like that is an extra piece of load we can take with us anytime the quartermaster hands out the black shot grenades for a mission.
Yeah, I think I'll say that.
Then it's available if you want to take it on load.
If you have black shot, you can have this. I think I'm gonna make it interchangeable to not make it too complicated. And then it gives one more potency in situations where there's a crowd.
Yeah, that's the idea of it. It's actually got like an area effect. They kind of explode and sort of shower kind of black shot over an area.
Yeah, like
than,
it. Yeah. I mean, it gives scale for that purpose, right? I mean, it basically lets one soldier attack a squad.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, Jim.
Yeah, potency and scale are kind of changeable depending on the fictional situation.
Yeah.
Awesome, nice.
Cool.
Well, I guess that's a flag for the GM to send us like hordes of undead.
Yeah.
So then, like, if we used all 3, how do we make more?
You can acquire an asset.
Okay.
Now that we know how to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think just because the only black shot that we've gotten has been like rewards. So I haven't actually had to acquire it before.
Well, I'll say that in missions where there's an asset, you can also. No, I think you have to acquire asset actually, because you have to make this. You won't find blackshot grenades hanging around.
Yeah, totally. It makes sense. It's just.
It was a pretty.
So I knew.
Yeah, lot of development.
Cool.
Can I also start a new project?
You can only do one of each action each turn, I think. So you can't this time around.
Okay.
How many actions do you get with full?
2. No.
It's just 2 for high. You don't get a special one for full. So let's meet done.
Did you do 2? No.
Yeah, horses.
I got the horses and then I got the grenades.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Good. That's the campaign actions then. Now we advance, going towards the forest. You, Commander.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
What is that forest actually called? Because on the map, I find it very hard to read the text.
Yes.
Is it Diresk or Dirish?
Duresh.
Duresh.
Duresh. Okay.
Yes, that's why I struggled with saying the name also. I was like, what is that? A U?
Is that a U? Is that a H? Is that a K? Is that an R? It's a really weird choice of font. Yeah.
Very fancy, but not very readable.
Yeah.
Duresh. So, Commander, now you get to roll pressure to see how much time you accumulate.
Pressure, when you advance, roll pressure minus horses uses spent and add time below. Where are we at for how many horses we got right now?
How many horses? We have 5, I think.
Can we spend one for this, please?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to do that. So pressure is at 1. If we spend 1 horse, that puts us to 0. So I'll be rolling at 0, which means I roll 2 and take the lower of the 2, right?
Yeah.
It'll do that automatically.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so I'm going to reduce pressure to 0, and then I'll click on that. Bonus dice 0. That's a 1.
So you can add 1 time.
Excellent.
And reset your pressure to
0.
yes. Yep. Cool. So
Like
and then
half time.
I'm going to pick up our little Legion thing and move it into the Duresh Forest.
Feels good.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
Into the woods.
So we have already chosen the focus. Well, we did actually, because I didn't roll the commander focus, but we have rolled up the missions and stuff. We have 2 missions. This time I rolled randomly on the name table, and we have the wolf missions this time around. It's the Shattered Wolf and the Crimson Wolf operation, respectively.
Well, that's perfect, because you know who I'm sending.
Yeah, is it perhaps the Ember Wolves?
Yes.
Good. Cool. So the Operation Shattered Wolf is the secondary mission that you have chosen, Commander. It's an area recon mission, and the reward for it is -1 time, and there's no penalty. Probably scouting out in the woods or something, but we can get back to establishing that. But the primary mission, which is very epic and big wow, is Operation Crimson Wolf, which is a mission of type religious defense, and has the rewards of giving our chosen favor of type holy, and then an exceptional asset, which we have discussed in our group, is a war moose.
War moose.
So
I think whenever anybody says the word war moose, you have to kind of go war moose.
War moose. That trick never works.
War moose.
Yeah.
That's it. And if you're wearing a hood, you have to put your hood up as well. War moose.
Amazing. So basically what this mission is, so last time we saw our scouts finding this entrance to this secret path. But what we're going to do this time is that the Horned One is going to open it and do a ritual of some sort to call on to the War Moose. This War Moose has this is subject to change, but at least I have made some magical attributes for it. It lets the rider weave the ancient power of the forest to shape nature to your advantage. So the reason that the Horned One is calling the War Moose is that they will split the forest open of the trees in some magical way. Also, I think that, so as a side effect, some we can see some legionnaires riding this at some time in the future, and you can use this magical ability just to fictionally position. I mean, you can make a tree fall down on something. There's an easy way to make your scale higher. Use it to your fictional positioning, pretty much, to do whatever you want with it. But once you mount it, the rider gains 2 corruption.
Ooh.
Every time?
Yes.
Okay.
Power is dangerous to mere mortals. This is a godly creature.
When do we go for intel questions about the missions?
Seems about Paul, I'm gonna ask first. You want to have your scene now or at the end of the session?
I was thinking I might kind of pepper it in, kind of in the middle of the mission, kind of thing. Like we could almost have like a little cutaway of like kind of telling it then.
I like
might
that,
work.
actually.
Yeah, it might work as like a nice little, sort of cliffhanger bit, putting it in to break up the action.
Cool. Let's do that.
Cool.
So.
Also, I just really want to jump into the war moose. Let's just get to that bit.
War
moose. I so found the name of my new band.
Awesome. Cool. So, this is a good time actually to do the intel questions. That's a good point. Before we kind of, in theory, decide which squad is going on which mission, even if we might have decided that.
Yeah, I mean, and technically I'm supposed to be able to ask them before we even decide what mission we're going on, but we kind of tweaked that a little bit because we want to be ready for it and stuff like that. I'm very comfortable with this. I almost certainly wouldn't have changed what we've got going on, but here is before you pick primary and secondary missions, ask one of the following. So I get to ask a whole passel of questions. We've got 3 intel. My 3+ intel question is, what is the weakness of a lieutenant we've encountered previously? Because I think the lieutenants we've encountered are probably the guy that's in charge of the Black Oak Knights. Is he a lieutenant?
Yeah, the Dark General.
And the lady with the bow. Yes.
I'm gonna ask you which one you want to know the weakness of.
Oh, I want to smoke that general so bad.
Was that what the assault mission was?
The assault mission also killed a lieutenant actually, but it's not the one we have seen on screen.
Okay.
I decided I want to have a showdown on screen with this Dark General. Since he's like the established villain.
So can I just say, the Dark General, is that the guy we saw in Carlsberg?
Yeah, the one with the onyx black lance.
Yeah. Okay. What's his weakness?
Well,
we've kind of already established that the Black Oak Knights in general are overconfident, and that if we can kind of lure them out if we can kind of get them out in front of the forces around them, we can gang up on them. But what's his weakness specifically?
It's a good question. I think so. Yeah, we established that. I think he is different than the Knights as a group. I think his weakness is that. I think his weakness is that he is maybe a bit too meticulous. He will always weigh all the options, and there is definitely like opportunity to catch him by surprise if you do something unexpected.
Okay. Bold, rash action against him seems to be. There we go.
Yeah, which is the complete opposite of Black Oak Knights in many ways.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, excellent. If I hold 2+ intel, I can also ask one of the following questions. What's the main weakness of the undead's position on this mission that we're about to engage in?
Well, they have split up their armies, and the ones that are coming for you. I think that has weakened their position in the way that they are less organized and less people. They are trying to like surround you going out in this like fan formation, but they're not really that many. So there is weakness in their ranks. You could like flank them,
so they're spread out quite thinly, like their forces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What is a challenge on this mission?
Well, a challenge is that you're still handily outnumbered, even if it's not the full force. You're not that many, and you're in a corner defending a position to protect the Horned One. At least that's like the assumption that you would do that. The position of the Horned One is not very big, right? So that makes sense.
And what's the highest threat that we can expect?
I think expect. Good question. I think possibly threat 5.
That's quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like one of the broken themselves, I think, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, don't worry about it. War Moose is threat level 666, so it's fine.
Of course. Cool. So, which squad is going on what mission?
So, as we've heard in our little intro, so nicely, Anthracite Sweeping Calm will be taking the Ghost Owls on the recon mission. And Aurora Loprio will take Rusted Raging Tempest and voice the what's his name? The Kingfisher. Voice the Kingfisher Kariyevich with the Ember Wolves on the Crimson Wolf mission.
Awesome.
Right. So here's what I was thinking. I think I would like Paul to play the Kingfisher.
Cool.
I think, Jim, you like Violet Charging Tide, right? Isn't she?
Have I played Violet? I don't know.
We
That's
had
fine.
one of those scenes back at camp scenes with her, I believe. The one where we all ended up drinking.
Yeah, I played an Orite that we killed off last time.
Yeah. So she might.
Yeah, that's cool.
Her.
Yeah, that's fun.
And yeah, I would. Joel, are you fine with playing Aurora?
Yes, I will try to be tough and cool again.
Tough and cool, and leading the mission.
Oh dear. Okay.
But yeah. And then I'll play Rusted again.
Good stuff. So now let's assemble the engagement roll, and then we'll roll that and go to a short break before we start on the mission.
Yeah, so for the engagement role for the primary mission. Are all on the mission oaths sworn to the Legion? I think yes. Right?
Is the Kingfisher?
I think that was the whole
Hmm.
mission, right? Was to get him to join up with us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We never talked about what the oaths, like what's the oath that you swear to the Legion? Is that like a big deal, or is that just a like, well, if you've signed up, you've signed up?
That's that feels like a back at camp scene, or
Yeah.
or even if someone plays the Kingfisher, that's available as a flashback.
Yeah, totally.
That's true. Yeah.
But I think for the purpose of this, yes.
Okay, then we have one die. Did the commander spend one intel to give you foresight and info?
He should. Sorry, she did. I'm gonna go ahead and knock that down.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice. So that's 2 dice. Not everyone is a specialist or soldier. Does any legionnaire distrust the leadership or not fear them enough to obey orders on the battlefield? We've got a required specialist. We've got an officer on a religious mission, so that's fine. And Arcane, did the quartermaster send religious supplies to ward and protect the legionnaires?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 3 dice.
Wow.
Corruption. Is any legionnaire starting with plight? I don't think so. I didn't send the one with plight on a mission, the religious mission this time.
Probably not unwise.
So we got 3 dice. Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Okay. Let's see what they say.
Ooh, that's a crit.
Holy shit.
So I don't think the engagement rolls even recognize crits because that's the 6th result, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh yes, you succeeded the mission immediately. No, yeah, I think cool. That's good. Well, nice. I know how this looks, but let's take a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 25, whatever time you are.
Cool.
We are back, ready for capturing, or I don't know, we're not capturing the war moose, I guess. The war moose has to choose us, that's what we found out. After an excellent engagement roll, we should have some good chance to do that if we don't screw up our role playing here. So to set the scene, I think, I mean, engagement roll doesn't have crits, so unfortunately you don't get to auto succeed the mission here. But how this looks is that you're, I think, at the same kind of place you were at the end of last episode. It's the start. It's very much like this. There is plains, and then there is forest. There's no like small trees or anything. There's like huge old trees already at the start. You see this and I think you see the horned one like, I don't know, I think I imagine Panyar rituals being a bit I imagine them being a bit like they're centered around like fire and like more like elemental like tones. I think they're not one for the like formal reciting of holy text or anything like that. And I imagined in this instance there is like this fire. It's a pretty big fire too, actually. I think it's like from old trees that has died and leaves, and the kind you think you would find at the start of an old forest that you have been gathering for an hour or two. There is and the as we like the scene starts, you can see like the.
Is this maybe like the Horned One is actually like starting a controlled forest fire that is going to clear the route for us?
Sure, yeah, I like that idea. So maybe that's it. There's literally you see the forest, like the forest kind of burning somehow. It's kind of interesting because we also had last time that there was this that we saw that Render wants to burn down the forest, but I guess now we know why he's not going to succeed, because this is a part of the cycle of the forest. These big trees, they will survive fire. And you see like the camera like goes up, and you see probably like smoke almost like moving into the forest, and the Horned One is I imagine having like this small like hand drum and like kind of dancing and hitting the drum and like shouting these animal noises, like changing almost from every time she makes a sound, like from the sound of a bear to the sound of the wolf to, and I think probably as we like the camera tilts from like looking at the Horned One from above, sees the Legion like in this half circle around her. And I imagine like what this very good engagement roll does is that you see that there is not the main force is still a bit away. Like it's still just a couple of undead, like kind of going into the defenses. And it's not like a big thing that you have any problems with at the moment. So how I set this mission up is that there is 2 clocks for you to fill. There's one completing the ritual. You can do that whatever you want. I imagine maybe letting this take a bit of time and have you do this in like vignettes to try to see if you can spread it out, if that works. And then there is move the Legion into the forest. So once the completing the ritual is finished, the War Moose will appear, making way for the Legion to go in. And then there is another clock, which is a 10 clock, that is Render's forces overwhelming your defenses. And since you did a very good engagement roll, you start with 0 ticks on that 10 clock. So the Legion is kind of like I mean they're all here, but you have a special mission here. How are you set up? You have any thoughts about that? What's your role in this?
Maybe just for like fictional positioning kind of stuff. The roll says that we've overcome our first obstacle and are in a controlled position for the next. So what was the thing that we've already done? Because that might help say what we're doing now. You know,
starting the ritual. So because like the Horned One is already doing the thing. Is that it?
I was imagining something like that, or like clearing the area for doing it. Even I would probably, if you had a worse role, I would probably put you in like a Helm's Deep kind of situation with like completely surrounded by enemies trying to do this.
Okay.
So I think Tempest is I'm gonna concentrate on moving the Legion into the forest, right? As my as a scout, like I'm organizing that part, like getting people organized in small groups, and like yeah, and not directly involved with the ritual. How does that sound? Because I think we definitely have. I don't know how you feel, Paul, but the Kingfisher is kind of like he knows his ways with rituals by now, right?
Oh yeah. It doesn't mean that he's comfortable with them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But I guess it's also
It makes him nervous, you know.
Also the question is, I mean, you definitely have like most say in this, Joel, as like the one in charge, right? So if you want to tell us, no, Tempest, I need you involved with the ritual because I do have marked, so I'm like good at resisting corruption. So that's a thing you need to keep in mind.
I think actually I have I'm adjusting my answer for the last question a little bit. I'm going to say that the ritual is kind of already underway. You have done quite a bit of it already, which is lighting the forest on fire and all that. So there's just 2 pieces left of that clock. I think that makes more sense.
Okay.
What is the last part of the ritual that you need, that Horned One need helps with?
If we're setting a hunk of the forest on fire, then whatever lived there is going to be fleeing towards the Horned One. And so basically, our job is not so much right now to protect the Horned One, but to like all this wildlife that's coming out of the forest to kind of like pretend, like hold the area and protect them so that they can disperse into the woods that aren't burning.
Herding, basically. Yeah, I like that.
That's very cool. I like that too.
So then I think it wouldn't make sense for Russet to be on that, because we established earlier that Panyar can kind of communicate with animals a bit.
All right, yeah.
And then I think it makes sense for Aurora to be working on the moving the Legion part, because she can tell people to get their butts in gear really good.
I like it.
Kingfisher, I think, could go either way. He seems like he could be quite motivational.
I mean, we want the Horned One to have a bodyguard, right?
And glance up, see the smoke rising. This is a beacon. This will draw the undead direct to our location here. There is no hiding here.
Yeah.
We must stand and fight.
Yeah.
And that's what the Kingfisher does best. He fights. So I'm staying right here. And he sticks his huge, double-handed, great sword, straight there, and just and he's like, I am staying right here to protect the Horned One.
So I'm seeing Tempest and Violet and Azure from the squad doing the herding stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Yeah,
and then we've got Midi standing somewhere
because we're fast and light and quiet.
Yeah.
And so if I mean, the other thing that we can do is if our big guy is just right there and there's the Horned One, that's a kill zone we can set up too. where if we have like a couple of people with muskets or, up in the trees, and we let the undead that are going at the kingfisher just run past them and don't shoot until they're there, then we kind of get them surrounded like that.
Nice, yeah.
Awesome. So I think you have given me some information that I can do to like frame the scene in a way that's easier to act on here. So I think like you see these animals run out. There is small animals, forest mice, rabbits, foxes, all kinds of animals like running out. Bigger animals like maybe one or two bears, and then I think you hear like this rumbling from the forest. Almost like making the ground shake, and you I think what you need to help the horned one here with is that she can't make contact with the war moose because she's doing the ritual. So one of you has to do it. And I think at this moment, like you see the forest like part, like the trees are bending over, and you see like this long path into the forest, and the moose is running out. What do you do? Huge moose, war moose.
Is it huge just merely by being moose, or is it huge even by moose standards?
I think it's huge for moose standards.
Amazing.
Yes. Like a war horse is to a pony.
That's a very large animal. War moose.
So, officer, what do you command? What did you plan to do in this situation? Because you knew this already.
I mean, any of these Panyars speak moose?
I'm not sure exactly how it works, right?
Ever talk to a rat?
I'm pretty sure, actually, this is the horned one did not tell you how to do this.
Yeah.
We sent religious supplies like reliquaries and stuff along. Is there maybe something that it will recognize that we can like hold up or something like that?
I mean, right, we're hurting them, and I think that is maybe something that has helped us with that. Like there's like these little tied, like these little not stick figures, but figures made out of sticks that have been like a little bit Blair Witch style, but they those are the little religious wards, and they've been like set up in a way to guide the animals in a safe direction, away from the Legion and back into the forest. Right now, this huge war moose comes stomping out of the forest, and I think I want to say, yeah, I think it's. Here's what I want to do. I want to, because like it's the war moose is like a big thing. We won't be able to get good effect on it to actually get something done unless we come prepared for it. And I think I want to say as Tempest that I have been as Tempest that I've been like coordinating us. So I want to use Marshall to set up Violet for actually like doing then the actual thing with the moose that will make the connection. So my idea is here to like get Violet in the perfect position, and maybe it's me spreading out, getting the war moose's attention, right, and probably like whistling, and we've talked about this before, for you to spread out and to get it to stop, and that's my setup action. To give better effect to whatever is the follow-up action to that. Does that sound good to you, Mikhail?
Yeah. What action are you using?
That would be Marshall then. Right. It's basically marshalling us to be in a good position to and to draw the moose's attention. It's a combination of those two things. What position is this?
Well, I mean, you succeeded your role, so I think it's controlled. You're prepared for this.
Yeah, and what position do I get, though? Is this like a thing that's easy to do?
Getting the attention?
It's both. Like, I want to do two things here, right? It's getting the attention, so that the moose focuses on me, and having like the other Panyars be in a good position.
So just to talk a little bit about the situation in general, I was thinking immediately this is a situation you probably don't have a lot of effect, which is why it's a smart move to do a setup action, because this is a wild and magical creature.
And it's fair to say that my setup action even doesn't have like proper effect here.
Well, I would say that because you're not trying to affect the moose, you do have effect. I think probably it's limited though.
Okay. I think I've marked soldier's kit, so I think what I do have with me is like a lantern or something like that, right? And it's been lit, and I open up the lantern on its side to actually like shine a light onto the moose and actually get its attention, like in a provocative way. So I want to push the position from control to risky and also get standard effect to give like a proper setup.
Yeah. Also, I was just going to ask, curious, what are you feeling at this moment? Because this is a creature of legend. And you're a Panyar, right? So.
Yeah, and my feeling is I'm challenging the fates here. Like, it's equally as likely that the moose is just gonna impale me on its great big, what are they called?
Antlers.
Are they still antlers with a moose? Is theirs? Because
that's a good question.
In German they're called shovels at that point.
Yeah, it's antlers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But that I might get shoveled up by its antlers, right? And that wouldn't be. It wouldn't be an act of evil. It would be an act of nature for that to happen.
Awesome. So you already traded position for effect. Do you want to push here for extra?
I don't know what would great effect even give. It's the setup, because I want to have Violet do the actual thing afterwards. Right. So I think I'm just gonna push myself for another die, because I only have one die. Let's see how that works out to be. Sorry. There we go. I don't even get the setup.
Well, Well, I think what happens is that the moose does charge right for you. I'm going to give the rest of you an opportunity to react, since this is a setup action. I mean, you did get his attention, so I guess you succeeded in some way. But this is definitely like a consequence here that you do get pierced by this giant moose's antlers.
Which is harm level?
5.
I don't think 5 exists, right? Does it? 4 is death.
Yeah, you can be more than dead.
Okay.
Are the rest of us nearby?
Yeah, like level harm 5, if you're hit by something like this, is you're not just dead, but that like your body's obliterated. Like it's like you're just like smashed flat or something.
A fine mist.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we're nearby, I can resist it. Or assist, I guess.
So that doesn't help.
Okay.
So
Tempest is dying in this situation.
If I mean you're doing a setup action for them getting the attention of the moose. I'm not saying that is failing because of this, but the consequences of failing that means the death of Tempest possibly. Because now it's charging for Tempest with the intention of piercing them.
But
with their...
So I rolled a 1 to 3, so I don't get what I wanted, and I'm suffering consequences. And the
consequence here is that you're in a desperate situation.
Yeah, and that is something that I could resist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's how I want to resist being put into a desperate situation. Maybe only it's I mean, it's fairly easy. This is just Tempest starting to run with the lantern, and like this little outcropping of a rock on the side, and I like run on that and get on all fours, and then like suddenly leap to the side almost like a cat, while the lantern goes flying in the other direction. Yeah, so basically, lantern goes there, and getting myself out of the way, and then like basically wherever I land on all fours and cower down. So that yeah, what's that? Insight, prowess, or resolve?
Prowess, I think.
Sure. I couldn't have taken another stress. Okay, nice.
Good. So also the moose, like I mean, you avoid it, but it charges around, and not slowing down. What do the rest of you do?
So I'm wondering if maybe I could use channels to try and help with, like, because we were like, what are we actually gonna do about this moose? Like, channels to establish that we've previously discussed this and have like a I mean, obviously other people suggest things, but like moose snacks or a special moose net or something. Like,
so one thing that
I don't know anything about moose.
I read up a little bit on moose. One of the things about moose is that most of the plants they eat are low in sodium. So, like, one of the reasons moose get hit by cars and stuff in northern climates is they actually go on the road to lick the road salt off of the road. And like, if you see, like, sometimes you'll see like there's like salt licks out in fields, you know, like for cows and deer and stuff like that and whatever. But if we brought like, I mean, no shit, like a bag of salt with us, that's a thing that would be appealing to the moose, because they spend like half their time eating like aquatic plants, like plants that are in the water that are not very nutritious, but that's how they get their salt. And like salt is very appealing to them. It's like, you know, it'd be like sugar to us or something like that. And that might possibly be a thing that we have that could appeal to a moose. Well, I did tick fresh food on my thing here. So,
well, if you want to feed a rampaging, psychotic, massive war moose treats whilst it's rampaging around, be my guest. But I think first we should stop this beast from marauding around like it has no manners.
All right, so I think that then Violet, like it comes down, it's running around, it swirls its head around, and Violet is there. I have a climbing kit, so I've just got, like, you know, a rope with a grapple, and I'm just gonna like wing it around one of those horns and just like swing up onto its back. You know, and just kind of hold on for dear life. And this is like breaking a horse, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got to show it that we're strong enough to you know, to deal with it. And maybe when I'm up on top there, I can whisper in its ear, or, you know, whatever, or try and just kind of ride it out.
I love that. That's
do it.
Yeah. Wow. Oh. Cool. I think this is definitely a desperate
that checks out. It's maneuver for sure.
But I do actually think this is I think it's a limited effect. I mean, this is definitely, I think we have established that, like, riding it this is how it works. I think you are supposed to break it.
Yeah.
But this hasn't been done in a while, and you're like, so you might not get around just by swinging on top of it. You might have to. That at least how the situation starts.
Sure.
Could maybe the, like, part of the religious supplies or the use of the channels be like there's a special, like, a bit of tack or something that would help with that? Like, if you have to get like a special bridle in its mouth or something like that?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Cool. Yeah, if you use your channels for it, I'm all up for that. What is it? Is it bread with like salt, or what is it that you have? Let's see the flashback where you do that actually.
Okay, so I think
who do you go to get the special bread?
Well, I think it's like a piece of like a riding equipment, and maybe part of the danger is that it's like a bridle, so you have to like kind of put your hand in the moose's mouth a little bit.
Yeah, you got to get it over its head or something like that, swinging around or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think probably the like this is probably mostly between like Aurora, the two Panyar, because she would have known that that's probably who would be doing this. Maybe the quartermaster, because it's a thing.
Maybe and maybe the lore master, because how big does this bridle need to be? How big is this war moose?
So then, yeah,
Maybe the
I think-
master.
Yeah, I think maybe then the lore master, and then I think the only person that could like make it would be like the horned one, or would know where to get it or something like that. So it'd be cool if
So-
she could be in the scene.
Yeah, cool. Who's playing who? Is this you all coming to the horned one to like get her to make it?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I think this is the horned one coming to us and saying,
Yeah,
I need this. And we go, what the hell is this? And she says, I need this. You know, like that kind of thing.
And then she wasn't talking to anybody earlier.
Yeah.
This is like the first time. that she
oh
says it.
god, yeah. I tell you the reason. Oh, I've got a great idea for the reason why.
Totally,
why she's not talking.
Like it's the I need this. You'll know you'll know how to use it when the time comes. Like that's like chosen bullshit. That's like the kind of thing they do. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that. So I think you have been called by probably the horned one to meet like you're the like group who are going on this mission, right? So and you're all standing around. I mean, I guess this is not very normal. The horned one doesn't usually convene anyone. So, yeah, what are you? I imagine like we go into the scene as you're talking about what you think this is.
Mhm. Okay. So I think it's probably Mia's Aurora, Matthias's Tempest, Gemma's Violet, and then Paul is the lore keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Aurora's direct enough to just like ask the lore keeper like, what the hell is this?
The chosen, the horn one has many hidden secret rituals to appease the spirits of the forest. I believe we are about to find out what our task will be. I've heard that a special token, a reliquary, if you will, must be used, must have part of the chosen's own self entwined and woven into it. What form that could take, we will find out.
Sir, I'm not sure why I'm here.
Because custom of the forest has it that the horned one will choose a recipient to carry this reliquary. I believe she may have chosen you. You are blessed today, child.
I'm a rookie, sir.
Well, maybe not by the end of this.
You panya.
And I think, as you say that, you see this little girl, a very short woman, walking towards you. You see her antlers. She does not wear a robe as she often does. It's like a wooden green tunic. with these like symbols going all over the shoulders, and down on the middle of the on her chest, and she is wearing like this pretty, like, I guess it's pretty big, like wearing it. She's holding it like she would be carrying like wood in the winter. Inside this, and you can't really see what it is. It's in the night, so it's pretty dark. And as she comes over, I think she walks directly for you, Violet.
Yeah, and like I take that like involuntary, like I do that involuntary step back to like be behind the, you know, the higher ranking legionnaires, but then it's clear she's walking towards me, and I like kind of look right, look left. Russet, do you like I look at you like I'm not sure what to do here.
Russet is just standing and being super stoic.
So no, you don't give me any kind of indication, kind of nod or like little flip of the head or anything. So like kind of stare at you for a couple of seconds, you know, swallow again, and kind of you know, nod at the horned one.
Yeah.
From the forest to the forest, I say to her.
And I think she gives you like a blank stare at that.
Yeah, because she's not talking, is she? She's like completely stopped talking. Yeah.
Well, she hadn't for a while at least, and she like motions for you to take her package.
Okay, so I kind of I reach out and and this is like I'm taking it like I'm picking up a baby, right? This is not just like, but it's like very gently cup my arms under it and kind of take it back. And like I'm looking at her the whole time, trying to get some kind of read off of her face or something.
Yeah, and I think actually she just like she looks at you and takes both like one hand on one shoulder and then the other on the other shoulder, and she actually talks. I think it's the first time in like a week at least. And she says, "You're marked, Violet Charging Tide. You'll know when to use it." And she just like turns around, not really actually giving any attention to any of the rest of you, and like walks into the night.
Yeah, and I'm literally just standing there holding it like stock still, like I'm not sure what to do or where to go next.
Well, what is it?
I don't know. Is it all? Can I put it down?
I think. Do we want to cut here? Is it time for the roll for the acquire asset?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a sway, right?
Yeah.
We've got enough fictional positioning here for someone to be assisting.
I think that it makes sense for Violet to be assisting because she's the one that the horned one seems to think is the right one to, you know, at least to give it to hand it to. So I'll mark a stress. That was legit stressful, that whole thing.
Seems stressful, yeah. So the position, since it was back at camp, would it be controlled or?
It's not
But
it's an acquire asset roll, right?
Mm.
So it's a fortune roll.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's no position here. You just roll the amount of dice, and then that determines what quality the asset is.
okay. It looks like in the book it's
You still can you click on sway, but then you choose fortune out of the list.
oh, okay. Fortune roll. Okay. And then what is the effect?
Standard.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's a fortune roll. So it just,
Okay. Just making sure.
yeah,
And
it's
then
confusing, I know.
1 bonus die for the assist, and then can I push on this?
No.
Makes sense. There you go.
It's a 5. So it's fine assets.
So find magical moose trapper.
Oh, I've got a great idea for what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
How about it's like a kind of a bridle and a bit like made out of these kind of like, it looks really delicate though. It's kind of made out of these kind of like woven kind of threads, but like woven into it is like almost like jewelry. It's like the horned one's own teeth.
And like
She's
her
like-
hair and stuff.
Yeah, she's like pulled out her own teeth and like woven them in like charms, so like her own hair and stuff. And that's why she hasn't been talking, because she's literally like pulled half her own teeth out. Is that kind of gross enough?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of this thing being like, rather than being like a big like leather sort of like thing for a war moose, it's this really like dainty like ornamental kind of thing.
Kind of almost gossamer looking, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
And-
it
and-
just fall apart. Yeah.
And the bit itself that it chews down on definitely has to be like this like curved hunk of one of her horns, I feel like.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, so she's basically like kind of like semi kind of like mutilated herself to like make this charm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna give you an extra effect for this thing you got here. It seems like it makes very fictional sense. So you got your standard effect. That means that if you make this roll, you'll fill the clock. If not, I'll establish harm as established.
So I feel like this is maneuver.
Yeah.
Jump
Makes sense.
up onto its back.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get any? If I, like I said, if I use up, do I get any? Is the climbing kit just give me fictional positioning, or do I get anything out of it if I use that up?
No.
Usually just fictional positioning.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's it. It allows me to do it. So,
Yeah, you will get
I'll hook it and swing up there and stuff. So yeah, totally cool. That's legit. I'm totally gonna spend 2 Well, actually, talk to me about a devil's bargain here.
Well, a devil's bargain could be that you take 2 corruption.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
wait a second though. Haven't we already established that just getting on the moose will automatically give you 2 corruption?
Well, if you ride it and like use it on a mission.
Yeah, I think if you use its power.
Yes, was what we were saying. But yeah, if I like go right into it, then yeah. And I can still resist that, right?
Not a devil's bargain.
No. Oh, that's right, because it's devil's bargain. Yeah, cool. I'll totally take that 2 corruption. And roll 3 dice. Oh, and then. Oh, and if this succeeds, then we fill that clock.
Yeah. Then you just have to move the legion.
Yeah, there we go. So like, I swing that like just. This is not hard. It's got that. It's it's probably got like a 14-foot rack of antlers or some shit like this. Something crazy. bonkers like that. It's no problem to hook a, to just get a grappling hook to kind of wrap around it and go ka-chung. And then I kind of swing around when it whips its head around, and I got to hold on to it. And then I end up on its back, and I'm, crawling up, grabbing handfuls of fur to try and, throw that thing around its face there. So let's see how this goes. So I got 3 dice for this. This is going to be maneuver. What's my position?
Desperate.
Oh yeah.
Get XP.
What's my effect?
Standard.
Okay. I have 1 bonus die.
Could the kingfisher assist by like that rope that you use to like tie around its antlers to climb up? He kind of grabs onto the rope and like digs his heels in, and he's trying to like kind of rein in like the thing, and he's being dragged along like through like his boots kind of like just plowing through. Like,
That's please say yes.
Yes, this is very animated scene.
Because that's awesome. So that gives me an additional bonus die, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Plus
and
1 stress.
I take what stress. Yeah.
Okay, so I got 2 bonus dice, and marked that 2 corruption.
Yeah.
There's my 6.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an epic moment. I'm just gonna describe how you do this, how you manage, and not only do you get up there, but the moose now you have broken it in, so to speak. It is now following your command, even though it's probably going to be a little bit overwhelming for.
Yeah, and I think there's that thing where like Violet, like I said, kind of wraps it around like one antler, and it when it flicks its head to try and pull it off, that yanks her off her feet, and one hand on the rope, one hand I like I said, grab a tuft of fur, and then I let go of the rope and kind of if any of you have ever played Shadow of the Colossus, this is a total Shadow of the Colossus thing, where grab it's like that big charging bull you jump onto the back of. Yeah, and so grabs the tuft, swings around, slams hard into the side of it, and then kind of climbs up its back, and the kingfisher, that line is just whipping around, and then the kingfisher just reaches out and snags it. And I'm there, and I'm struggling to try and get that mesh around it, and the kingfisher just yanks hard, which basically slams its head into the one side of it, and then I kind of work it around, and I say, "Let go!" And he lets go, and the head snaps back the other way, which kind of snaps it into the other side of it, and then I've got it, and I feel once it's around there, and kind of it thrashes its head a couple more times, because the bit is caught on its chin, and then it just slides up, the bit goes into its mouth, and it chomps down, and instantly that, it's tame. There was all that it knocked over a couple of trees doing this and sudden, but suddenly it's just it's like a horse now. And I'm sitting on it kind of gasping. And I think the corruption is that I can when you're on its back, it's not just that you're riding a big horse, but kind of half of my vision is sort of through its eyes, and I can kind of feel the ground through it and stuff like that. I'm kind of dialed into it in a way that is way beyond just even if you've ridden a horse for years or something like that. And kind of it's trophy style. The forest a little bit has its hooks in me because I'm on the back of this thing. Yeah.
Plus, you also develop an intense, constant craving for salt.
Could be.
Awesome.
Feed me kelp.
So back to Russet. What are you?
The clock fills, right?
Yeah, the clock fills move, completing the ritual. You still have to move the Legion into the forest. Yeah, so I guess the scene is established. The moose is it sitting? Is it standing there just? Or and you hear like the shouts of like the Legion around, still like defending against these undead. What do you do?
Oh shit. Like I kind of like I'm on its back, and I like turn and look at the horned one, and see that they're still like they don't give a shit. They're still in the middle of their ritual, or whatever. They're still doing it. And I kind of experimentally like give it a little kick, and like kind of like tug on that bridle, and see if that gets it kind of walking in the direction I want it to.
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit sudden, and you're a little bit afraid it's going to run again, but it does.
Okay, so I'm going to give it a little bit harder kick and head it towards wherever the loudest yelling is coming from.
Yeah, so the rest of you see this happening, and like in a this small second, you just like see the moose like charging towards the front line, and I think you probably do you shout anything to the soldiers there to warn them?
No, I'm just trying to hold it. I'm just holding on.
Cool. What do the rest of you do?
Are you other two getting the Legion to get its ass moving into the forest?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingfisher will take point. To sort of protect against sort of any undead like attacking our front.
What are the orders Dame Aurora is shouting?
So I think, just like trying to think of what's going on fictionally, like the Ember Wolves are the vanguard, right? So if we're with them, then we're at the front, and it's like, is it the rest of the mission is like going behind us, maybe?
So
or are we clearing the way?
The situation, how it looks now, is that while you have been doing this with the ritual, which is, I think the horn one, they're still dancing around there, but the ritual, for all intents and purposes, is done. Meanwhile, the rest of the Legion has been holding off the forces of Render in like this half circle around you while you have been doing this. Okay. So they're still doing that. That's how it looks, and you see like you have the back against the forest, and they have like this half circle around this now path into the forest at which the war moose came out of.
Okay.
Any other? Could I clarify it more? Was that?
Yes. I'm just trying to think of if this is like ordering people to get a move on time or fighting time.
Order them to get a move on?
Yeah.
Because the moose can like knock down trees and shit like this. So like what I'm thinking is now it's time to like, we don't need to hold them off anymore. Get everybody moving. And I'm just going to like, basically, the the movie chase equivalent of like you're running and you're like knocking stuff over behind you, right? To keep the people that are chasing you from catching you. Like I think like if we have the moose just kind of like knock down 3 or 4 great big trees that that blocks their way sufficiently, we can just clear out.
Okay. So yeah, I think I want to do a a setup action, I guess, of discipline to get the rookies maneuvering out of here.
Mm-hmm. What orders are you shouting? Because you're being strict here with your discipline.
Okay. I mean,
there could be like a plan, and they're supposed to do something now that they are not doing, and you're disciplining them or something like that, perhaps.
Yeah. I think it's probably like they're like everybody's probably pretty stunned by the whole moose situation. So I think Aurora like maybe even like shoulder checks one or something, and she's like, "What are you doing? Remember the plan. We'll have time to set up a petting zoo or something later."
Awesome.
Oh, I want to know, do we maybe see who you're telling that? Or you've got the whole Legion basically available?
It's absolutely meaty.
Meaty? Yeah. Nice.
It's absolutely meaty.
Cool. Seems like just a straight roll here.
Okay.
Standard effects. I think this is a little bit risky, just because the troops is at risk, not you, but
okay. Standard. And then, do you guys think I should push? How would that work for like a setup action? Is it
you
worth
push
it
for an extra dice? Yeah.
It's not a setup action, it's an action, right?
I thought that
can be, yeah.
You're just paying ticks onto get the Legion moving clock.
Oh, okay, yeah. If it's for sweet ticks, I will push myself.
Yeah.
For an extra die. And then everyone's in Moose Town, so probably no assisting. Okay.
That's 5.
Yes.
Yeah. So 2 ticks. Okay, so I think the consequence here, I think it's So which squad is the one who? Because I think I'm not gonna do that. I think that the consequence here is that I'm adding. It takes a bit more time than you wanted it to, and I'm gonna add another 2 ticks to the Renders Forces clock. You see in the fiction how this looks is that you see that now there is more and more undead coming. You see there is actually some kind of new thing you haven't seen here before. This like kind of undead that has some like weapons like thrown or like pierced into them, and they keep like running at people from the Legion, just piercing them in the process. Pretty much like just ripping them apart. And you hear like screams and people getting hurt a little bit, and you see that there is more and more forces coming. Can
I resist that? I'll like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Depends how. Tear slap Midi, poor Midi.
Well, there's turning tail, there's turning tail and running, and then there's fighting retreats, and there's also you could have set up traps or deadfalls or something Rambo style when they come after, like knowing that we're going to fall back, we could have laid snares and stuff for them to come after us.
So yeah,
Yeah,
the actual question is, what do you actually want to resist here? Is it that we're taking too much time? Because I'm hearing two consequences, and kind of Mika might need to be more like clear about what the consequences are. That we're taking more time, and that those weird self-sacrificial undead are coming. Those are two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So which one of those do you want to actually resist? That's probably the question here. Or both. I mean, you can do both. It's just going to be 2 resist rolls then, and that much more stress. And it kind of, yeah, we need to ask how.
I mean, I think I don't know how I could resist whatever Render choosing to bring something. So I was thinking the time probably.
Yeah.
And then like possibly like with sway, kind of like basically thinking that possibly the recruits, especially like meaty, are scared of Aurora basically, because we established before that she's not really good with rookies. So her kind of realizing like, oh, this approach isn't really working. Maybe if I kind of be good cop for a second, they'll respond better to that.
Is this like maybe a flashback where you see like Aurora actually going and talking to the soldiers before this mission? Like not shouting at them?
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool. So I imagine probably this is we can do this pretty short. I think it's like in the Ember Wolves camp, and they are probably like eating supper or something like that as you come. I think probably when you come immediately, Midi like stands up and like does the salute.
Yeah, I think Aurora just kind of like, acknowledges it, but doesn't really like make a thing out of it. She's like, yes, this is correct. This is how rookies should react when they see me, kind of like they should be saluting to me. And then I think it's mostly that she like just goes and gets her stuff and goes to sit down and does, and looks up and sees that she's all by herself. Like, it took a while for her to kind of like, she's I think the last specialist we saw. So like in the narrative, she's kind of been all like not really with the specialist at all. And then like she hasn't been in that many backup camps. Like I think she just like realizes like, I think maybe no one likes me. And like sees all the rookies kind of hanging out together, and is kind of like, maybe I should try being a little bit more approachable.
Cool. I think probably you see like the screen like changes over, and you see like Midi's face like looking at the front and like biting her tongue, and then doing biting her lip, and then doing like what she's been told. You can resist now.
Okay.
You have to tell her with what?
With this is 100%
resolve.
Yeah, for sure it is.
So just
yeah, you click resolve.
Okay. And then no bonus dice?
Nope.
Right.
It's 3 stress.
Okay.
It was stressful to be nice after all.
She's learning. It's gonna take a little bit. No.
Cool. So I just add the regular 1 tick to the time clock.
Okay.
It's hard to be soft. It's tough to be tender.
Kingfisher, what do you do?
Well, I'm actually changing my thing. Rather than like leading the front, I'm taking up the rear because I'm going to stop any of these undead like sort of getting through to us. Yeah, so I think I love the idea that I've kind of like maybe like I've made like a kind of like a sled type thing, and that's tied to like the back of the war moose. And he's like, and Kingfisher, he's like standing on this sled with his tower shield in one hand and his like great sword in the other, just like whoa, like all these like undead like sort of running after him, and he's just like cleaving them like sort of.
Although
moving platform.
If you need something that is flat, slightly rounded, that you could put your boots into two things that you might normally put your arm through. The shield itself would be like that would be a great sled.
Oh, I love it then. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I think he's tied his shield on. He's using his shield as a sled then, and then he's got the great sword in like two hands, just like cleaving these like undead like in two.
Yeah. So I think so. What action are you using? Are you clearly like distracting and freeing up the rookies to fall back?
Yeah, I'm basically like taking all of the attention like on me, so the rookies can just because they're having to like beat a hasty retreat through this forest, so they don't have to worry about fighting, they just have to worry about running.
What action rating are you using?
That will be my skirmish.
Do you by any chance have any black shot grenades?
I didn't. I don't know. Did we have black shot?
I don't think we ever actually did loadout.
Yeah, we didn't issue any. I mean, I did loadout for my character.
Yeah.
I think the answer is probably no.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't an assault mission or anything. So
no. So I'm not using that. So I'm just using my my fine heavy weapon, my two-handed greatsword. Which is like the hilt of it is this beautifully like carved like blue kingfisher. That's kind of where it gets its name from.
Awesome. Cool. I think this is limited effect desperate position because you're going against big masses here. A lot of undead. You want to say something, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to maneuver the moose to give him maximum, spread and put him where he needs to be. So I'll take a stress to give him an extra die if that's reasonable here.
Does Kingfisher get anchor?
Yes, he does.
He's a one-man army.
So what we have?
Never heard of him.
I've not used that before.
OMAC.
You count as a small group all by yourself if you use anchor.
Yeah, basically pushes you up one effect.
Oh yeah, each anchor allows you to fight as a small group. It means you can fight groups of lesser undead without loss of effect.
Yeah, so that's exactly
cool,
what this is.
So I'm going to use my anchor here. I'm going to anchor myself to my shield, which is then anchored to the war moose. So it's like double anchor. Yeah, cool.
So do you see where it also says anchor under armor, heavy shield? Yeah, that's
tick that.
Where you tick the uses.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, cool. Yeah.
You wanna push for effect too?
Yeah, totally. Yep.
That's great effect then.
But that costs 2 stress then.
2 stress, yeah.
2 stress. Okay, so it's still desperate. Great effect.
Yeah.
No bonus die. I'm pushing myself, so I get 1 from that, don't it?
No, but you get 1 from the assist. You push yourself for effect.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, cool.
Cool. Yeah. I think that you, I mean, firstly, you succeed at what you're doing. So you can describe, this looks so cool that I want you to describe it, and I'm going to add a consequence afterwards or two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm on this, on the back of this, on the shield, sort of being dragged through the forest. And I'm like, sort of, yeah, just cleaving the heads like off of these undead as they're kind of chasing after me. And like he's laughing, and the more like blood from these undead that's just spraying over him, the louder he laughs, and you can hear this. You know, it sounds like he's having a whale of a time, like ha ha ha. Like that. But then like some of the undead, like they jump onto the shield, and they're kind of like sort of hanging off him. And it looks like he's kind of getting overwhelmed. But then at the last moment, he just bang, like explodes and sort of like throws them all off. And you see, like, maybe as you're riding the moose, Violet, you kind of, you glance over your shoulder to see how he's doing. You just see like 5 or 6 like undead, like sort of fountain, like up in the air, like whoa, like hang there and then smash, crash to the ground.
Awesome. So I think the consequence here is definitely like that you take also harm. You have some cuts in your on different parts of your body, probably from being in this pile of undead.
I'm gonna resist that with my my armor, my fine suit of armor that I'm wearing.
3 harm.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'm wearing my heavy armor because I went heavy.
Then you can push it down to.
Yeah,
well,
I pushed down to 1. 2. Is that correct?
What's the base? 3.
3. So I basically get 2 uses of armor with my heavy armor, so I can knock it down to 1. Yeah.
Only use 1 because you already have both level 1 harms filled.
Oh,
so
I see.
It wouldn't help you pushing it down too.
Does that harm not kind of go away in between missions?
No, we need to do stuff for that. You get to ignore it because you're tough, so it doesn't hinder you in the stuff you do, but it still takes up those 2 slots.
Okay, sure.
What's the wound then on level 2? Because that decides where you lose that 1 die, right?
It's probably like something like battered and bruised or something like that.
Okay. But we get 3 ticks, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you already put them in?
No. That means we have 1 left. I am imagining this is probably... I'm going to ask you, but I was thinking probably the moose. Or Russet, possibly. I don't know. You can figure out. I mean, you still have to succeed the last thing, so...
I have an idea for the last thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more to resolve for the Kingfisher right now?
No, that's it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean... That's actually Tempest taking point and leading the very first squad deeper into the forest, down into the forest aisle that's been burned into it, right? So basically with Scout, going forward with Scout.
Which squad are you leading?
We are leading... So it can't be the Ghost Owls because they're busy. So... Where are my squads? Here are my squads. I'm leading... Yeah, I'm leading the I'm leading the Silver they're all barging, so they're like completely out of their element here, and they're the first ones to be led into this dark, for them, like probably very eerie, threatening forest, right?
Yeah, cool.
And I've like picked up my lantern and looking very stressed is the wrong word, but Tempest is not having it, right? And Tempest sees that they're scared and is snippish and short-worded with them.
Yeah, cool. So I think this is probably risky standard, actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just gonna take risky standard as it is. No pushing anything unless there's a devil's bargain.
Sure.
Devil's bargain.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
Feared by the common legionnaire.
Certainly that squad anyway.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna make that a bit more consequential than that. Leading them into the forest like this is making them question the legions, or starting to make them question the legions' sense in doing this, making a 10 o'clock to make them say no to this question of if they are trusting the leadership.
So you're starting a clock for them?
Mm-hmm.
What size of a clock? 4 o'clock?
I think I think 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You taking it?
Sure.
We'll win them back.
Yeah, I like that actually.
Yeah, we'll get them some beef jerky or something.
Okay, let's see how this roll goes. Oh, that's 6.
Cool. Yeah. So
I wanted my last. Yeah, not getting that last point of stress that I wanted.
So we see like this the fallback. Everyone running back into the forest, and I think what you see as also the war moose is that probably like the last one to turn into the forest after all the others have fallen back. You see that immediately when the moose runs in there, the forest immediately grows thick again. And like closing the way for the undead. They follow, but they can't nearly keep up with you, as you have like a free way to walk, and they are not. And that's the mission.
Good job.
Ooh.
Cool.
Well done, team.
Yes.
Now we know why they call her Charging Tide.
Yeah.
Emphasis on charging.
I just like looked into her character sheet and was like, oh, you have the Panyard trait marked.
I thought you knew that, and that was why you were doing that.
I did.
Okay, yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
I went into the character sheet just to look, and it was just like, oh,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you know what? I did play her before, but it wasn't when we were all. It wasn't when we were in the tent all laughing. It was at the funeral. That was when I played her before. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that was awesome. But now, first, before we start celebrating, we're doing the secondary mission.
Oh, yeah.
Don't say it like that.
I mean, we have done the mistake once.
Yeah.
Ooh, secondary
War
mission.
moose.
Sweet. Fucking war moose. That's so awesome. Sorry, I'm a big fan of the war moose.
Okay.
Who isn't?
Yeah. Secondary mission. The ones the Embo, the Ghost Owls were on with Anthracite. Are all on the mission oath sworn to the Legion? Yep. So that's 1 die. Did the commander spend 1 intel to give you foresight and info?
He did. She did.
Oh, awesome.
So intel from 2 down to 1.
So that's 2 dice. It's not everyone's leadership doesn't come into it. Parameters were fulfilled, right? I've got a scout on mission. So we're not taking that. Speed. Did the quartermaster spend horses to equip the mission? Nice. So that's 3 dice.
Shiny new horses.
Yeah. There's no need for anyone to be on heavy load, so that's a really good basis for a secondary mission roll. So let's see how this goes. 3 dice. It is a 5.
Oh.
And it was that 3rd die that we added that rolled the 5. So
yeah. So on a 4 to 5, choose fail the mission and all troops return unharmed, or you can succeed, 2 squad members die and all specialists take level 2 harm.
what's our reward for it?
-1 time, which is fairly valuable.
What's our fail condition?
And an asset none. No fail condition.
Oh, that time would be nice.
I think so too, right? And I actually think this makes a lot of sense, right? This recon mission is basically directly tied into a defend mission. Just the camera wasn't on that part of the battle.
Yep.
It's them. It's probably them running recon in terms of running interference. Like making it hard for the enemy to actually attack our actual forces. So it's like
or like the other thing that I imagine it might be is if we've got this fire here, they're setting signal fires or something elsewhere.
Yeah.
Just so that like squads of undead have to go investigate that, to draw them away from the main force, like kind of distractionary, diversionary tactics like that. That's cool.
And it's that's what that leads to is at some point they do get caught up and they get into a scrap with the enemy.
Yeah,
and we lose.
Seems legit.
We lose Alexei and Tatinika. Like, let's keep liable because we've seen them before. Yeah. But no promotions, sadly. And level 2 arm for Anthracite.
And I get to actually take. So when do we do rewards? We do rewards after, right?
Now,
okay. So do we want to do our secondary rewards first?
Sure. -1 time.
-1 time. Oh, you have no idea how sweet that sounds. Maybe you do have an idea.
And I have added also another favor to the chosen. They're 1 away from getting a new ability.
Level up. Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice. What's their base ability?
It's the one where they get XP for more kinds of favors.
Yeah, they can do all different kinds of favor to get XP.
Anointed,
right.
holy, mystic, and wild missions all grant mission favor. Start with
okay, yeah.
one mission favor filled in as well.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. The starting with the bonus XP is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. So,
Paul, your house is falling apart.
Yeah, that's my cat just like knocked a blanket off a wardrobe.
Oh, like it's just like stuff falling down from the ceiling.
Yeah,
I just tried to jump on the desk. Something is happening with them.
The war cats.
And what's our asset that we pick up for that?
That's the war moose.
Look, there she is.
No. This is the secondary. Don't we get an asset for the secondary mission as well?
It says asset, yeah.
Oh.
Is that correct, or is that?
Oh, cone of degradation.
I think that is not correct. Actually, that's something that's left from last time. I'm gonna double check that, but I don't think so.
I don't
Sorry
think
to
it
get
was
you.
it in the Discord in our chat.
Okay.
Didn't say asset, I think.
Sorry to get your expectations up
That's
there,
what I
boys.
thought, yeah.
But Quartermaster, you can add the war moose to your inventory.
I'm so jealous you get to type that on your sheet. That's awesome.
So cool.
And then you can mark -1 morale for each legionnaire that died on the missions.
Yeah. So 2 died, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I marked -1, -2 morale.
Which means we're still at 8, which is still
eight, yeah. It's
still topped out. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll do XP for our characters. You want to run us through that, Marshall?
Yep. So, I'll just start with Rusted, right? Didn't have any desperate actions, even though it almost looked like I might. Then I survived the mission, so that's 1 XP. If you helped your squad through stealth or foresight, I think the last part. I mean, the foresight was the trying to get the moose. Didn't really help there, but getting the last taking point on bringing people into the state, right? That's foresight. So that's 2. Brought into play your heritage. Well, the cat jump is something. Felines is what Rusted Raging Tempest is most akin to. So that would be 3. And what was the highest threat level?
He said 5.
So that's 8.
We didn't actually have to get in a fight with them, but they were on the way.
Yeah.
So beating that timer was big deal.
Yep.
Okay. Violet, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure thing. Every time you roll a desperate action, mark XP in that action's attribute. I did that for prowess when I rolled a desperate maneuver. At the end of each mission, mark 1 XP. If you survive the mission, 1 there. If you helped your squad by staying out of the way, no. Or surviving despite the odds, oh, very much yes. So I'm going to take that. 2 XP if you brought into play your heritage or trauma. It's all about my heritage and being marked and the horned one and all that kind of stuff and everything. So I'll take those 2. 1, 2, 2. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 4. 4 and 5 is 9. Threat 5 opponent. So that means that Violet, I'm going to mark 1 more block in prowess because I actually went to 9, but she's going to level up. Not a rookie anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fits perfectly.
I'm I'm going to click promote. Yeah, there we go.
And also, just so you know, you can change the last name for Panyars when they do something other that is very significant, which is why they get the third name. So you might think of that if maybe Violet gets a new last name from this glorious feat.
So it would change from Tide.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charging Moose.
Well, is that last name usually a?
You're not allowed to call it animal things actually because they're holy.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Could be like Violet Charging Mount or something. Couldn't it?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Antler.
I'll think about it.
Who wanna go next with XP?
Yeah, sure. I'll go next. Voice the Kingfisher. He rolled 1 desperate action in skirmish, something like that. He survived the mission. Just about. He's got a lacerated face, which is the injury I put in, the moderate injury. Because like the undead, yeah, that he was fully armored, protected here, but they just scratched the shit out of his face. He doesn't care. Wears it as a badge of honor. Helped my squad through might or fortitude. Well, I think both, but that's the only one. Brought into play his heritage. Yep, his toughness, like being besieged by dozens of undead and still flinging them off. And is that put highest threat? So it's 5, you say?
Yes.
Oh wow, so that's it. He levels up. Boing, boing, boing.
So let me ask you a question, Mikhail, just because I have just to make sure that I understand how this works. So one of the abilities that I can take when I level her up is Iron Will. You can spend great uses as special armor versus fear, paralysis, corruption, and fatigue. Would that apply to riding the moose, or is that only against like stuff that comes at me? Or like that too is you mount it, you take it. There's nothing it's not reducible.
No, you can resist that. I would say yes. I mean, it's not the devil's bargain. That's the only thing I definitely feel like you can't resist.
Sure.
Makes sense also with grit, fictionally speaking. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't necessarily know that she's going to be that it's going to be her riding the moose. So
well,
I'm curious.
We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. There are fights about who's going to ride the moose. So, XP4, you haven't yet, Dame Aurora, have you?
Nope. Sorry. So for Aurora, I don't think I rolled any desperate actions. I looked through it and I didn't. I did survive the mission. Helped my squad through enforcing discipline or strategic planning. I think like with the flashbacks was strategic planning. And brought into play my heritage or trauma. I think powerful. I think her stern personality kind of came into play.
Mm-hmm.
And then per highest threat of opponent faced was 5. So that's also 8.
Man, that intel really paid off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think she would level up as well.
Yep.
Ooh.
Whatever.
Excellent. So I think with the Kingfisher, I'm going to level him up and take the special ability of Weapon Master. You're known as a Weapon Master even outside the Legion. When you push yourself, you gain potency in melee combat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Very on brand.
Yeah, that fits perfectly. Yeah.
Cool. So that's all the things we have to do today. Then you didn't do your story yet, but if you want.
Yeah, I really need to get off and get going. I'll do it at the start of the next session. I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
let's do that then. So
if my count is correct, you're already at 3 out of 4 again for another.
Yeah,
story.
yeah, I am. Who is it? Who died? Who died this time?
From the Ghost Owls.
Yeah,
2 marks there. If you look at them.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it there. Cool. I'll fill that in myself then. That's fine. Yeah. So only one more dies, and we get a third tail.
Cool.
I'll prepare that as well.
You'll get a double story at the start of next session again then.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But then that is it for us this week. We're gonna do a round of outros, and then yeah, it's been a nice session. My name is Mikael. My things are here. You can find me on Twitter, where I post if there's anything else that is going to happen except this stream every Thursday, which you should watch because it's so much fun. It was a really awesome session, and yeah, it just keeps getting better, so that's cool. And we got the War Moose, so yeah. I might announce something about something coming after Christmas after this campaign sometime in the near future, perhaps. We'll see. But that's where you're going to find out about it then. So that's me. We'll go next, Paul.
Yeah, sure. My name's Paul. My pronouns are war and moose. You can find me on Twitter at Marshall Stacks. And yeah, looking forward to next week. Getting a soft spot for the Kingfisher now. I like him. Jim?
Yeah, I'm Jim Crocker, and the record should state that it was I that suggested that the asset that we encountered would be some kind of, I believe my words were, some kind of fucking war moose or something like that. So I'm glad that everybody thought that was fun. So I'm really immensely enjoying this game, and I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. This is the game that helped me actually get Forged in the Dark, to understand it in a way that a couple of other sessions of other games have been like still rattling around in my head. But I'm really enjoying myself immensely. Find me on Twitter at JimLikesGames, and my website is JimLikesGames.com. And say hello if you're at UConn in a couple of weeks or PAX Unplugged in a month.
Cool. You're gonna go next, Joel?
Yeah, I'm Joel Van Dyne. She, her pronouns. Yeah. I mean, what is there to say? We have a war moose. Like,
it's true.
You can say how people can find your bronze medal module again.
I mean, I'm done with that. I'm writing a new one all about the war moose. I've left these childish things behind me. No, yeah, that's my adventure. A Place to Call Home is on the DMs Guild website under my same name, Joel Van Dyne. You can also find me on Twitter at Dyne Joel. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at mthsblgr. And next week, here again, as we get deeper into the forest, and I'm excited to explore that bit a lot more.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see all of you all who has been watching here next week. It's been fun experiencing this fun game together with you. So, and getting drawings of War Moose from Anna. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. It's the best. See you next week.